going on, guys? Me breaking down UFC Vegas 87 today. Quick little recap from last weekend's card. UFC Mexico, it did about 0.61 units in tracked YouTube profit. I myself had a little over 2K profit on the weekend. Just to run through it real quick, we had Manuel Torres moneyline to win 1.5 units. Pretty easy there, got that at Pick'em. Next up was Ferris Ziam moneyline and Daniel Zellhuber moneyline parlay at plus 110 to win 550. He also got in 1 unit on Zellhuber live at near Pick'em at end of round 1. Pretty good live entry there. Some of our misses, we had Felipe dos Santos KO 0.8 units. And then Naimov moneyline, Moreno moneyline parlay. I don't hate the bet. I thought that there was clear pass to Moreno. He just didn't, he didn't wrestle enough. And it was strange to see the leg kick overhand combo repeatedly and not really utilize his boxing. He gave Royval, his best chance to win it, and Royval capitalized. He outvolumed him late. I thought Royval won the fight. I don't really have much qualms about the decision there. So, yeah, pretty profitable weekend. I ended up cashing on Jesus Aguilar. Hit this 4-leg parlay. It was like to win, was it 1250-ish? And then we cashed Friday night on Cage Warriors and Fury FC. And then we also made some money on PFL with Brendan Ferreira over Ryan Bader. So yeah, pretty profitable week. Let's keep that rolling into this card. First fight up is Abdul Karim Al-Sewady versus Loic Radzhabov. So off the bat, guys, I think this line's, it just feels off. It feels off. I get the upside for Abdul Karim Al-Sewady is better cardio and just better volume. But just a few months ago, this guy's a plus 400 dog to George Hardwick on Contender. And yeah, that's wide in hindsight. But honestly, that fight, like Hardwick was just so reactionary. He was biting on all the feints. He really couldn't track the footwork of Al-Sewady. Round 2, he landed some okay shots. But overall, like Kareem had a great game plan there. And he just looked like, I don't know. Like I said, there was this very reactionary look from Hardwick. I'm not sure. Early on he got clipped. It is what it is. Al-Sewady had a good, good win there. But let's look at before that win. So back in 2019, he got knocked out twice in the first round in Brave. One was a knee up the middle counter on like an overhand right. It's dropped, not fully out, but the ref immediately stepped in. And then his other KO was a spinning back elbow the next fight. So he has been knocked out 3 times in his career, all in the first round. And then after those 2 in Brave, goes and fights Jake Sebastian in LFA. I don't think the guy is fighting anymore. Like, pretty bad performance, was a loss off his back. Pretty easy round 1 ground and pound win for Al-Sewady. Next up was Nick Compton. And this guy was like, I think 41 at the time. And like, what was he, man? 1-9 in his last 10. And he's not a good striker. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. And he immediately come out and like almost sparks Al-Sewady. Like hurts him, like off the bat, first minute. And yeah, Al-Sewady recovers and does fine in that fight. But these fights lead up to Hardwick, man. Like Chris Pissarro, okay? This guy, number one, he's lost off his back in that fight. Like completely lost as soon as it hit the mat. Yep, and the guy, his last win is 2015. Hasn't won in like 7 years. Just all out losses, lost, like 0-10 in his last time. So what I'm getting at, guys, is on this, before watching him fight Hardwick, which he was a plus 400 dog, we've seen him fight very low-level guys, and now you're going up against Loic Radzhabov, who, say what you want about his game, the guy is tested. Like there's plenty of tape, there's plenty of 5-round footage of this guy over at PFL. He's been around, man. I get that. He's coming off a knockout loss, the first one of his career against Rebecki, but Rebecki's going to be a problem at 155. That guy is, he's just going to be a fucking problem, man. Yeah, he got compromised probably that first leg kick. Rebecki's a southpaw, so those kicks kind of land on like the inner knee, and right away his leg's compromised. He tried to tough it out, but Rebecki had him against the fence. It is what it is. I think Al-Sewady is chinny. I really do. You can see it. He does not eat shots well. Even Hardwick's second round, there's a few shots there, man. He gets hit with a straight punch, a hook. His head's jutting back. He doesn't really eat it well. And I think the wrestling's a wash here. I mean, I actually think there could be even an upside for Loic being the just more aggressive physicality type wrestler, grind him out. Yeah, guys, I think there's going to be a big power discrepancy. I get that Sewady is a lot more likely to win a decision here on cardio and volume, but I think Loic can crack him early. So, yeah, I played Loic KO round 1 plus 950 for 0.1 unit. Played Loic KO round 2 plus 1300 for 0.1 unit. I have half unit on the money line. I played it on like Tuesday. I thought the line had settled. Apparently not. So I'm holding like a 140 money line on Radzhabov, half unit. Yeah, like I said, I don't particularly like fully love the money line as like a heavy play, because if this extends, Sewady's gonna win the like round 3 pretty clearly, and Radzhabov can gas out a bit. But I think the power discrepancy is pretty major. I think the wrestling's a wash, and I'm not running to back Sewady at minus 180. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So we're going with Loic as the dog here, first fight of the night. Should be a good fight regardless. Both these guys have like 5-round experience. You don't really see that for like an opener. So yeah, guys, like I said, Loic by knockout round 1, 0.1 unit, Loic knockout round 2, 0.1 unit, and then half a unit on Radzhabov money line. All right, guys, next fight up. I'm probably going to do a lot of like smaller breakdowns today. I don't have many thoughts on these minus 500 favorites, so we'll just keep going through it here. All right, next fight up is Ludovic Klein and AJ Cunningham. Clear pass. I mean, Klein probably runs through him. I don't know how. Like, what he can knock him out if he really wants to stay on the feet. He can wrestle and control him the whole time for a decision, or he could probably submit him on the mat. So Klein looks like on crazy juice for for this fight, man. He always does, but especially this one, he's in crazy shape. And I don't rate AJ Cunningham. Clear pass at the current line. Next one up, we got Christian Leroy Duncan and Claudio Ribeiro. If I got the opener at CLD plus 210, sure. But now we're looking at minus 310, right? Minus 310 CLD. It's ridiculous. Not that I would play Ribeiro here, but to trust CLD at this kind of chalk number when, I don't know, man, that Petrosian fight was a bad look. I backed CLD there. I thought he had a wrestling upside, and turns out Arman was the better wrestler, which makes no sense. But yeah, no, I think CLD probably wins it. I didn't see what FanDuel round combos were. If CLD round 2, round 3 KO is plus 400, 500, that could be value. They'd be onto it though. Round 1, Ribeiro has a finishing upside, but CLD should break him down the stretch. All right, guys, next fight up is Javid Basharat and Ayman Zahabi. I have faded Zahabi a few times. Let's just go through here. So, Arichi Long, I got him at minus 105 over Zahabi. Played that at the opener even, and was pretty confident there. Like, Zahabi is a older, like... Being a bantamweight and being 38 usually doesn't go hand in hand, especially for high-level guys of these like lower weight classes. So I played Arichi Long. He gets knocked out round 1, like instant, like just out. I played Tercios against Zahabi, which I thought, Zahabi low volume, looking to counter. Like Tercios will have a volume advantage here, and Tercios just kicked out the air for 15 minutes and landed like a 10% clip on his strikes. It was a terrible performance. And then he knocked out Draco Rodriguez. There's a few losses before that. I don't think Zahabi's like bad per se. Basharat's gonna like, number one, chew up that front leg. He's gonna have the better volume. He's gonna have a slight advantage on the ground. Zahabi's, I don't think he gets submitted here. But yeah, I played Basharat early. I got in at minus 460. Current line. Okay, so someone bought it back. Basharat, I saw him hit minus 1,000. Appears to be about minus 800 right now. No value there. I mean, I've played Basharat round 3 or decision in the past. It's probably the most likely thing. But, it's at minus like 1,000, it's not really like a read. Like I said, I played at 470. I have it parlayed up there. But yeah, Basharat for the win. Next up, guys, got Jamie Pickett and Eric Anders. This is a clear no bet. I get the looks at Anders sub. I've seen people been throwing it out there because he has been grappling a lot more, and he should get some top time here, at least some. Pickett's terrible. Like, Pickett's not UFC level. This is his last fight. All that being said, no way am I laying Anders minus 500. Like, I don't care who he's fighting. That's not something you can play. And then I thought about it more. I'm like, maybe he does sub him, but I missed the early line. And it's like, well, maybe you can knock him out. So let's play ITD. Well, it's minus 115. And you shouldn't be laying, like, Anders at ITD at Pick'em. It just doesn't seem right. He'll get the win here, but hard pass for me. Next fight up is Steve Erceg versus Matt Schnell. So I faded Matt Schnell with Sumadurgi back in UFC Long Island. I was actually there for that fight. I had moneyline, I had Madurgi knockout. Looked so good. Obviously, Matt Schnell doesn't have the greatest of chins. The durability is not the best. Could even be injured going into this fight. But no, yeah, Matt Schnell's a dog, though. I mean, skill for skill, he's not bad. It's just he gets hurt. He gets hurt nonstop all the time, but it's not bad skill-wise. And, I mean, if there wasn't this big of a chin concern, I would be playing Schnell moneyline here easy. But I think Erceg's going to crack him. Erceg has shown, like, he definitely favors hopping on guillotines or just going for the submission. So I don't mind the look. Like I said, do not play Erceg minus 435. It's like, it's a ridiculous price for him to, like, cover here. We got Erceg submission. I'm seeing the best one here is 225, 230. So that's not bad, man. I think if you're leaning Erceg ITD, he probably gets a club and sub at some point. Skill for skill, it's a pretty even fight, but durability, it's Matt Schnell. So yeah, Erceg's aside, don't touch the money line. All right, next one up, guys. We got Umar Nurmagomedeov versus Basharat Almakhan. I played Umar here. I did. I played the early line at minus 770. And I know it's minus 770, but even there, I thought I had like a little bit of value. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't think Basharat's bad. His striking looks pretty good. You just couldn't have this is like the hardest debut fight you could ever possibly ask for. I will say this, I think Umar has a clear grappling edge. I don't think he's going to stand with Basharat for very long. I think he immediately shoots. And I think he finds a sub here. So I did parlay up Umar at minus 770. You can't touch minus 1,500 now. But I played a half unit on under 1.5 at plus 165. And then I'm going to be playing some Umar submission. I'm seeing plus 150 numbers right now. Apparently, Bet Rivers opened it up at plus 1,200, which I wish, oh my God, we would have hammered that. But, yeah, plus 150 Umar sub, I think it's the most likely path. I see people are arguing that, oh yeah, Basharat is, like, tough. He's never fought this high level of grappler, and I think Umar can not run through him on the mat, but he's going to find the submission early. Okay, so Umar is the pick. You can't touch the current money line. All right, next up, guys, it's like the biggest debate of the week. Muhammad Mokaev versus Alex Perez. So another one of these Dags guys. I played him early. I saw Mokaev hit minus 240 on Bet Online, and I loaded up there. So I did parlay, like I mentioned. I got Umar early line, Basharat early line minus 470, and Mokaev. I got 2 units on that parlay at minus 115, 116. Look, here's how I view it. I think Basharat and Umar 90, percentish. maybe Umar 95, you could argue. I mean, I think he runs through him. So the plan is that we'll get to Mokaev. We'll have a minus 118 line on the 3-leg, and then I do have a 2-leg, 2-unit on early Umar line and the early Mokaev line. So in total, guys, yeah, I got 5 units down on these 3. But the intention is that I knew at minus 240 Mokaev, the line was going to get steamed. As soon as people looked into Perez a little bit more, like public money was going to come into Mokaev. So the plan is to get there. The first 2 hit, Basharat money line, Umar money line, and then we have a chance to hedge on Perez, who likely closest is a plus 300 or more dog. So that's how I'm playing these heavy favorites this card. Just those 3, I played them on Sunday, early lines before everything steamed away. But on the Perez side, guys, like, he will be the better striker. He's not a bad wrestler. But this is all me basing it off of what, 5 years ago? We've seen him twice in the last 4 years, and he got insta-sub twice. And I know that's Pantoja and Deiveson Figueiredo. So 2 elite submission threats at flyweight. But he taps quick, man. It's like the going gets tough, and Perez has seemed likely to find a way out. And then when you look into, like, who has Perez beat at the UFC level? Okay, Formiga, Espinosa maybe, but, like, I mean, guys, no one that he's, I know this is years ago, but no one that he's, like, fought or has wins over is, like, in the UFC. We haven't seen him. He's had 12 cancellations in his UFC career. He's got the Acai shop. He's coaching. Just had the kid, like, and that's all great for him. I'm glad that, you know, he's doing well. But how dedicated are you to, like, to MMA? Like, how dedicated are you at this point of your career? You've had 12 cancellations. You've had 2 fights in the last 4 years. You have other businesses. You have other ventures. Mokaev's improving fight to fight. I know people are going to argue with that because he almost lost to Elliott before the sub, but the kid's got grit. He's not going to quit in there. He's going to give it his, like, he'll literally die in there before he would tap out. And I can't say the same about Perez. So even if skill for skill, this line should be minus 200 Mokaev. All the other things you bake him in, like, I think minus 300 Mokaev's accurate. Like, I really do. That's why I played minus 240. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mokaev closes minus 400 here. Mokaev's sub is probably the most likely. It's probably around 1. Perez has been subbed 5-6 times in his career. But it could be late, too. I don't know. I'm not getting too cute with the round there. So I played Mokaev, like I mentioned. Then I do have a half unit on the under 2.5 at plus 115. I got it in. I want to say that's now pick'em. But, yeah, I think the way Mokaev fights and the pace this is going to play out at, Mokaev either runs through him on the ground early, but if for some reason that Mokaev can't get the wrestling going, Perez defends the takedowns, he can get his legs chewed up, and Perez could even find, I know everyone's saying, like, oh, Perez decision is, like, you know, the only way. It's like, Perez could technically, like, kick the shit out of his legs and land a knockout. I don't think that's happening, though. I can't tell you where Perez is at right now, and I doubt he is taking this as serious as Muhammad Mokaev, who is improving fight to fight at 23 years old. And one thing, too, guys, with this card, like, obviously it was meant to be a Middle Eastern, like Saudi Arabia, these Muslim Russian showcase card. And obviously they didn't want the card, but here we are at the Apex, and all the DAGs have very favorable matchups. So, the UFC does not want Perez to win this. They want Mokaev versus Pantoja for the belt, probably. That's where they're thinking, and this is a good ranked fighter to get out of the division and move Mokaev up. So I think it's Mokaev. I may hedge on the parlay once we get there, depending on the line. All right, guys, finally, oh no, not finally, we got 2 more fights. Got Tyson Pedro and Vitor Petrino. So have you guys noticed this week, every favorite on this card has been catching steam. I mean, every single favorite has caught steam on this card. Even Gaziev, someone just whaled him like 20 minutes ago, and Gaziev is now minus 185 favorite, like crazy. But all the favorites are getting money. They're all getting love. And the only one that's not moving is Vitor Petrino. I'm seeing a lot of love for Vitor Petrino. People talk about him like he's like the next champ or like challenger or something. And I haven't seen that. I've made money on Petrino. I like that he's shown that he's not just some brute overhanded striker. He'll wrestle too. Like he can grapple. But this line, I don't know, man. This line, another one of these lines I think is a little off. Pedro, historically, he's a round one guy. I mean, Pedro, is it every fight, man? I want to pull it up right now. Sorry I didn't have this memorized. But yeah, every single one of Tyson Pedro's wins are in round one. Of those 10 round one, most of his UFC ones, like, he has 2 UFC submissions, 4 UFC first round knockouts. So I think Petrino, Bellato cracked him on Contender Series, knocked him down, ended up getting to his back there. Petrino survived and ended up knocking out Bellato. But even on the Anton Turcal's fight with Petrino, round 2, like, Anton had him hurt, man. He dropped him for a second. Another time he recovered. But Tyson Pedro's got very good hands. And I like recently, after the knee surgery and the other knee surgery, he's out for 3 years. They give him like EK Villanueva and like Hunsucker for some easy matchups. And then Pedro, who was it against? Bukakis. He was apparently sick that fight, and he definitely looked off. And then he fights Anton at Pick'em and knocks him out round 1. I made money off Tyson Pedro there. I'm kind of talking a lot here in circles, but what I'm getting at is I think Tyson Pedro round 1 knockout at plus 1,300 is a pretty good value. I think that's Pedro's path. I know submission's live, but I think that would be later, and even then, the later it goes, it favors Petrino. Petrino has definitely showed sometimes defensively he's not the greatest. And I do think that this round 1 is going to play out on the feet. Pedro will be the crisper boxer overall. I like his striking, and I think he can crack. So at plus 1,300 round 1, I played it 0.15 units to win like 2 units. I think it's value. I want to keep taping this one. I may get on to Tyson Pedro money line. It's just, like I said, all 6 of his UFC win, all 10 of his wins are round 1. So yeah, technically he could do something in round 2, round 3, but most of his equities at that early round. So yeah, plus 1,300, Tyson Pedro by knockout round 1. And then finally, guys, we got Shamil Gaziev versus Rozenstruik. I played Gaziev back on Monday at minus 142, I think. As I mentioned, Gaziev's now minus 185 favorite, which it's getting wider. I thought just clear wrestling upside. Like, Rozenstruik definitely has that, like, that death touch. But the way I view this fight is Gaziev probably shoots immediately. I don't see why he wouldn't shoot in the first minute, and he probably gets a takedown. So once Rozenstruik's down off its back, he doesn't have, it's heavyweight. Like, it's hard to get up with these guys. He has okay early wrestling defense, but once you get him flat, yeah, that's the round. That's a round or a finish. So I do think Gaziev will get him down round 1 at a pretty high clip, and he can finish him or just end with a dominant round. And when that happens, Gaziev will now be a minus 300, minus 400 favorite. Like, that's how I see this fight playing out. So if you like Rozenstruik, yes, you can spark him in the first minute, but he probably gets taken down, and you can probably get a better entry. Like, that's just the truth of it. I think Gaziev wins round 1 at a really high clip, like a very high clip, even on volume. He could, but I just think the wrestling upside's there early. Now, this fight comes down to, can Gaziev finish Rozenstruik? We all know Gaziev gas tank is not the greatest, and we've seen him in 3-round fights. Like, what does he look like extended? So, yeah, I played Gaziev with just knowing that he can finish him early, round 1 or round 2. But this live line, like, if it gets into, like, into round 1 and Gaziev gets a takedown, he's going to be a massive favorite. I can always arb out, hedge out there if I wanted to, but I like Gaziev here. I mean, Rozenstruik's always live for a knockout, and I haven't played it yet, but I'm eyeing Gaziev decision at plus 1,400. I know it seems ridiculous. I just think there's no value on heavyweight knockout props typically. Like, typically you find value on decisions. And the reasoning is, okay, I don't see Rozenstruik being a clear minute winner here. I think he's KO or bust. Now, that could be in round 1, it could be in round 5. But I think Gaziev can win round 1, round 2, round 3. If he doesn't, this is also saying if Gaziev does not get the early finish, okay, he does not sub him round 1, I think Gaziev can sit on top, gassed out, and just win minutes that way. So if this hits round 3 and Gaziev's gassed, he's probably not likely to finish Rozenstruik. And then I'm just sweating out, Gyro getting a knockout, like Biggie Boy knockout. But yeah, I think Gaziev, if he doesn't finish early, I think he can win 3 rounds. And he'll be gassed out pretty bad late. But he'll still be able to push through, I think, get takedowns. So I don't hate Gaziev decision at plus 1,400. But yeah, my main bet was moneyline minus 142 to win 1.5 units. That'll be all, guys. Like I said, not my favorite card, but ton of spots next weekend, which I've already started betting. I'll give one out now. Sean O'Malley, we'll be backing him. But yeah, I'll get an early video up next week, guys. Let's make some money.